all the things that I messed up during the design process and the actual build of this van. And there's a fair number of things that if I were to start over, I would do differently. And there are a few things that I just learned from day-to-day use just weren't that useful of an idea, or they weren't worth the effort. And there's also a couple things that were just, they failed. I should put it that way. They didn't work out quite the way that I'd hoped, or they had unforeseen consequences. Here at the foot of the bed, you might notice a change. The front of this box is missing. I took it out, and let me just move the blankets here and the sleeping bag, get those out of the way. So you can see here that this used to go all the way up to there, and then you'd access these through the top. And I had clean clothes on one side and laundry on the other. I still have it set up that way, but, and this was pointed out at the beginning, sort of someone right away when I made the bed said that it didn't look like I'd be able to fit. And I sort of made fun of that, and technically I was right. I could fit in the bed, but there was a problem. And that problem is that when I lay down in the bed, my feet had to be upright. Now, it's kind of hard to show in shoes, but when I sleep, my feet do this, and I think that's kind of normal. And I ended up kind of pressing up against this wall, basically, pushing myself up, and I was getting really bad backaches. So I took away these the piece of wood that was here, and now my feet just sort of go into there, and I'm fine. And I find that I actually end up curling up a bit more, but I still need that extra leg room, or I end up getting back problems. It's sort of strange. So if I were to do this again, I would have this complete section here be completely different. It would be a massive, massive change. I don't know what it would look like, but it would be completely different. And for now, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm thinking that I will probably have a curtain put up here eventually, but that won't be probably till the summertime. You can see here all these spots of discoloration on the walls. This is where I filled knots with wood filler, and the guy at the store said that it would dry white, and it didn't. And this is like 3 coats of paint, and it's still showing through because the paint that I have is diluted so that you can sort of see the texture of the wood through it a little bit. I'm probably going to have to repaint these walls in the summer to fix that. Just thought I'd mention that since it was showing. The other thing that I had to cut from the bed area is the table, like the dinner table that came out. So let me just throw this blanket up here, and you can see it used to be right here, and you'd pull it out like this. Problem was that it was causing mold to go on the mattress, which is a huge, huge problem in a van. The problem was I have the bed on slats, which you might be able to see if I do this, right? Well, the problem with that is that if you put a solid piece of wood underneath all those slats, the slats do nothing. It just didn't occur to me when I made the van. No one else that I saw comment picked up on that either. It's just one of those things that sort of, I built one thing and I built another thing, and I didn't think about how they meshed together. So I tried lowering down the table, didn't do a good enough job. I tried a couple other things, opening it when I left the van. It was just getting in the way. So I still have the table. It's just underneath of these curtains here, but I don't know if I'll put it back. Honestly, I've just stopped using it. It was really helpful to have a big flat surface. I still have the ability to put it back together, like the drawer slides are still there. So if I would need to do an art project or something like that, I can put it back. And maybe in the summer, I don't think it was a problem in the summer. I never noticed it being a problem in the summer. Basically, the way I noticed this was I would pull the table out and it'd be covered in water. It'd be soaking wet. Which is a pretty dead giveaway. So I had to take the mattress cover off the mattress. There's no mold on the actual mattress itself. I spend more time now definitely making sure that the humidity is down. After I found out about this, I bought a humidity reader. Run the wood stove a lot more, make sure that I keep my ventilation up, and then, not having that piece of wood right here in the way has made a huge, huge difference. So I've lost something that I actually used every single day, that table. That's the biggest loss that or concession that I've had to make since I actually started fixing these things or noticing these things. The rest of the things are much more minor compared to the ones with the bed. So the bed caused me a lot of problems. It gave me back problems, it gave me moisture and mold problems, and I lost my kitchen table. I would like to talk about this desk system. This is many people's favorite part of the van. It's my favorite part of the van. It's really cool because you can turn it into an easel, a standing desk, all these other things. This is the only position I have ever used it in, though. That's probably due to it's either way too hot in here or too cold in here to really want to do any kind of painting. It also means that this whole space here, you can't really put anything. You know, I've got like a photograph there or something, but because when it folds up for travel, you can't have like pencils or books or shelves or anything back there, which is kind of a missed opportunity because now that I'm back in school, you can see I've got a box full of books down there and papers and stuff. I have binders and textbooks just piled up there, and then I also carry a bunch around in my backpack and keep them in my locker at school. I wasn't really thinking about the expanding amount of materials that I would need as a student, and more so all the lesson plans and supplies that I'm now gathering for when I'm actually going into schools to teach. I need somewhere to put those, and I don't have that. So I'm going to have to think of some way of modifying this office. I'm going to keep the desk for sure. I want to keep using that as an experiment of sorts, but I might try and find another way to get some more places, like I can have a filing cabinet or something. It'll probably end up going under the bed, although there's not a lot of space left under there. But it's not a failure by any means. I really like this setup, but I love my kitchen. I use it every day. It's great. Absolutely love it. There's not a lot I would change about it. If I were to do this build again, I would probably make space for my oven that I bought after I'd built this. Obviously that wasn't a consideration when I was building the van. I already had this cooktop that I used every day, and it works great. I still have that oven, and I'll actually show you where it is right now. The oven is actually up front in the cab at the moment, and I haven't used it in probably months, and that's because it needs to have those little green propane bottles, which are just a pain. I hate those things. So if I were to do the van build again, it would probably end up here where the stovetop is, or somewhere else in this setup that works, and then it would be plumbed into the main gas bottle. That way I wouldn't have to think about it when I'm filling up those little green propane things. I would just be able to use it without thinking every day, and then just once in a while change out that propane tank. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about these mistakes that I made, or anything like that. I do have one more thing that I want to talk about, but that is going to have to come in a later video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Cheers, folks.